In 2009, a near-complete DVD of X-Men Origins Wolverine circulated across the internet months before its theatrical release. Millions watched a major studio tentpole filled with visible green screens and unrendered digital models. The industry tightened its digital borders, making a breach of that scale seem mathematically impossible in the modern era. Hackers systematically extracted the core assets from Sony servers, targeting every tier of the Brandnew Day production cycle. A major studio's most heavily guarded intellectual property was dismantled from the inside, exposing a severe vulnerability in the digital architecture holding these franchises together. The stolen files contain gigabytes of raw production data. The hackers pulled unreleased visual effects sequences, internal marketing campaigns, and multiple high bitrate cuts of the film's theatrical trailers. Within hours, individuals began auctioning access to the entire unfinished film on underground forums for as little as $500. This iPad displays a 2011 intrusion alert from the PlayStation Network, documenting a historical pattern of security failures within Sony's infrastructure. The studio's digital infrastructure is failing its most valuable properties. What was designed as a carefully coordinated theatrical experience is now circulating as black market contraband. The stolen footage reveals a radically different tone for the franchise. We find Peter Parker navigating a bleak, isolated existence within the city. He is living in poverty, sleeping on a makeshift bed, and battling severe depression. His only connection to his former life is compulsively checking MJ and Ned's social media. While Peter struggles to survive, his friends are preparing to graduate. They are finishing their final semester at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, successfully moving forward while he remains trapped in his past. This emotional strain is mirrored by a physical one. During a test, thick biological webbing violently erupts from his wrists, forcing out the mechanical shooters. The mutation is aggressive. Peter can no longer predict his own strength or agility, and the physical changes are actively corroding his psychological stability. Sony and Marvel are removing the safety net of the traditional superhero arc. They present a protagonist at war with his own mutating body. Desperate to stabilize his condition, Peter completely bypasses the usual Oscorp scientists and approaches the MCU's Bruce Banner for a cure. The two form a tense dynamic. Peter asks Banner for a way to suppress the chaotic elements of his mutated DNA while keeping the enhanced physical strength. At the same time, an external threat emerges in New York. An invisible entity capable of jumping from body to body triggers a massive sonic boom, instantly paralyzing the civilians in its radius. Leaked materials point to Sadie Sink portraying this antagonist, a force capable of hijacking human consciousness. Faced with this, Peter's combat methods become extremely violent. One leaked sequence shows his eyes turning pitch black as he mercilessly beats the Scorpion, throwing the villain around like a rag doll. Between the threat of external mind control and his own internal physiological breakdown, Peter is squeezed into a corner, reacting with unpredictable brutality. Knowing he is losing his grip, Peter seeks out an unlikely ally. He turns to Frank Castle, trusting the Punisher to protect MJ when he no longer can. But the situation deteriorates quickly. Castle ends up arming his entire crew, realizing he must march into the chaos to save Peter from a threat Spider-Man cannot handle. That threat originates from his own mentor. Banner's mechanical inhibitor completely shatters into pieces, and he violently transforms inside a massive derelict warehouse. The leak confirms an enraged, out-of-control gray variant that engages Spider-Man in a physically devastating battle. Instead of a standard team-up to defeat a common enemy, the climax isolates two former allies, forcing a brutal confrontation after both have entirely lost control of the monsters inside them. The studio now faces a difficult path to release. They are tasked with marketing a complex, dark narrative, while the raw footage is traded openly across illicit forums. Audiences lose the collective experience of these reveals. The shock of a Grey Hulk, or Peter's violent mutation, is stripped of its cinematic weight when viewed through a compressed, watermarked leak. This is digital sabotage. Releasing out-of-context, unpolished files fractures years of careful artistic intent and dismantles the scheduled marketing strategy. The responsibility falls entirely on the studio's digital infrastructure. If they cannot secure the flagship files for a globally anticipated Spider-Man release, every upcoming mega event they produce is highly vulnerable. Brandnew Day promises a uniquely dark chapter for the franchise, yet Sony's chronic failure to secure its flagship assets risks neutralizing that artistic impact before the film even reaches theaters.